If your liver could talk to you right now, it would be screaming. Most people over 60 are eating 5 completely ordinary foods every single day, foods they consider healthy or harmless, without realizing those exact foods are quietly pushing their liver toward failure. And the most dangerous part? Your liver doesn't send out warning signals until the damage is already done. By the time you feel it, decades of destruction have already occurred silently inside your body. But here's what changes today. In the next few minutes, I'm going to show you exactly which 5 foods are doing the most damage, ranked from bad to catastrophic, and what you can do starting tomorrow morning to begin reversing the harm. Stay with me until the end, because the #1 food on this list is something almost every single American over 60 eats multiple times a week, often in what they believe is a light or healthy version. One major study found that regular consumption of this specific food accelerates liver scarring by up to 64% in adults over 55, and yet you'll find it in virtually every household in this country. If this information sounds urgent, that's because it is. Hit that like button right now so more people like you can find this before it's too late. I'm Dr. Christopher Hayes, a physician specialized in senior health with over 15 years of dedicated clinical experience. I've worked with thousands of men and women over 60, and I can tell you with complete confidence that liver health is the most underestimated factor in how well people age. I've seen patients who exercised, avoided alcohol, maintained a healthy weight, and still developed serious liver complications, all because of what they were eating. What I'm about to share goes against the clean image many of these foods have built over the years. The food industry has spent billions making sure you don't connect these products to liver disease, but I've seen the damage with my own eyes, patient after patient, and I refuse to stay silent any longer. Let's start with what's actually happening inside your liver right now, because you need to understand this to appreciate why these 5 foods are so dangerous, specifically for people over 60. Your liver is responsible for over 500 functions inside your body. It filters your blood, processes every nutrient you eat, neutralizes toxins, regulates blood sugar, produces proteins that allow your blood to clot, and breaks down hormones your body no longer needs. It is, without exaggeration, your body's most hardworking organ. A healthy liver in a young adult can absorb tremendous punishment and recover, but here's the critical change that happens after 60. Your liver's regenerative capacity drops significantly. Research published in the Journal of Hepatology found that liver cell regeneration slows by nearly 40% between the ages of 60 and 75. That means damage accumulates faster and recovery happens slower. The liver you have today is far more vulnerable than the liver you had at 45, and that changes everything about how certain foods affect you. The most dangerous pattern I see in my clinic is what I call silent liver overload. Fat begins accumulating inside liver cells, inflammation sets in quietly, and over years, healthy liver tissue is replaced by scar tissue in a process called fibrosis. If fibrosis progresses far enough, it becomes cirrhosis, which is irreversible. And the terrifying part is that most people feel nothing until they're already deep into the process. No pain, no obvious symptoms, just fatigue, maybe some bloating, maybe a little difficulty losing weight, things that are easy to chalk up to aging. Now let's talk about the 5 specific foods driving this process, ranked from the 5th most damaging to the absolute worst. Number 5 on our list is flavored yogurt. I know what you're thinking. Yogurt is a health food. Every commercial, every magazine, every well-meaning nutritionist has told you for decades that yogurt supports digestion, builds bone density, and keeps your immune system strong. And plain, unsweetened yogurt absolutely does those things. But flavored yogurt, especially the fruit on the bottom varieties and the low-fat flavored versions that dominate supermarket shelves, is a profoundly different product. Most flavored yogurts contain between 18 and 26 grams of added sugar per single serving. Some of the most popular brands marketed specifically toward older adults contain even more, and that sugar almost entirely bypasses your muscles and goes directly to your liver for processing. Here's the mechanism. When you consume fructose, one of the primary sugars used in commercial yogurt flavoring, your liver is the only organ in your body capable of metabolizing it in large quantities. Unlike glucose, which gets distributed throughout your tissues, fructose goes straight to the liver and gets converted into fat. A study published in the Journal of Clinical Nutrition found that consistent fructose consumption, even in amounts considered moderate by most dietary guidelines, increased liver fat content by an average of 27% over just 8 weeks in adults over 55. 27% in 8 weeks. Imagine what years of daily flavored yogurt is doing. And here's the insidious twist. The low-fat versions are often worse because removing fat from yogurt eliminates its natural flavor, so manufacturers compensate with even more sugar and artificial sweeteners, many of which trigger the same liver fat storage pathways as regular sugar. The fix is simple. Switch to plain Greek yogurt. Add your own fresh fruit, a handful of blueberries, some sliced strawberries. You get the real probiotic and protein benefits of yogurt without flooding your liver with processed sugar. Your liver will begin responding positively within weeks, but flavored yogurt, as damaging as it is, only ranks 5th on our list. What comes next is considerably worse. Number 4 is store-bought salad dressing. This one genuinely surprises most of my patients because salad is the universal symbol of healthy eating. And it is. Vegetables, leafy greens, colorful produce, all tremendously beneficial for your liver. The problem is what people pour over that salad before they eat it. Commercial salad dressings, even the ones labeled light, healthy, natural, or heart smart, are typically loaded with 3 ingredients that directly damage liver tissue: refined seed oils, high fructose corn syrup, and sodium in quantities that would shock you. Let's focus specifically on the refined seed oils, because this is the part most people don't know. Soybean oil, canola oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, these are the base of almost every commercial dressing you'll find in a supermarket. These oils are extraordinarily high in omega-6 fatty acids. In a balanced diet, some omega-6 is necessary, but the ratio of omega-6 to omega-3 in the modern American diet is approximately 15:1 or even 20:1, when the ideal ratio for liver health is closer to 4:1 or lower. This imbalance triggers chronic low-grade inflammation throughout your body, and the liver, as your primary filtration organ, absorbs the worst of it. Research published in the journal Nutrients found that diets high in refined vegetable oils were associated with a 44% higher rate of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease compared to diets based on olive oil and whole food fats, a 44% difference just from the type of fat used in dressing. Think about how many salads you've eaten with store-bought dressing over the past decade. Here's what I recommend to my patients. Make a simple homemade dressing: 2 tablespoons of extra virgin olive oil, 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar or fresh lemon juice, a pinch of salt, some dried herbs. It takes 40 seconds to prepare. Extra virgin olive oil contains oleocanthal, a compound with potent anti-inflammatory properties that research has shown actively supports liver health. You turn a liver-damaging habit into a liver-protective one with almost no effort. Before we continue, I want to ask you something. Have you been eating store-bought salad dressing regularly, thinking you were doing something healthy for yourself? Type yes in the comments if this surprised you. Type no if you already knew about this. I genuinely want to know how many people are dealing with this, and your response helps other viewers see they're not alone. Number 3 on our list is white bread and refined grain products. This includes white sandwich bread, white rice, regular pasta, crackers, most breakfast cereals, and anything made with enriched wheat flour. I rank this third because of its absolute ubiquity in the American diet. These foods are eaten in enormous quantities multiple times per day by the majority of adults over 60, and the liver damage they cause is cumulative and relentless. Here's what's happening inside your body when you eat refined grains. The refining process strips away the fiber, vitamins, and minerals from the grain, leaving behind almost pure starch. Your digestive system converts that starch into glucose with extraordinary speed. Blood sugar spikes sharply. Your pancreas releases a surge of insulin to manage that spike, and here's the liver connection. Excess glucose that can't be immediately used for energy gets transported to the liver, where it's converted into triglycerides and stored as liver fat through a process called de novo lipogenesis. Every single time your blood sugar spikes from refined carbohydrates, your liver absorbs some of that overflow as fat. A landmark study published in the Journal of the American Medical Association found that adults who consumed high glycemic index diets centered on refined grains, had liver triglyceride levels 38% higher than those eating whole grain diets, even when total calorie intake was identical. Same calories, 38% more liver fat. That number stopped me when I first read it, and it stayed with me ever since. After 60, this process is significantly more dangerous because insulin sensitivity naturally declines with age. Your liver is processing more glucose overflow more often from a body that's less efficient at managing it. The fat accumulates faster. The inflammation builds more quickly. I remember Patricia, a 68-year-old retired school teacher from Chicago. She came to my office after her annual blood work came back with elevated liver enzymes. She was confused and a little frightened. She told me she barely drank any alcohol, exercised 3 times a week, and tried to eat healthy. When I asked her to walk me through a typical day of eating, the pattern was immediately clear. Toast with breakfast, a sandwich for lunch, crackers in the afternoon, pasta for dinner. She was eating refined grains at virtually every meal, every single day, and had been for years. I explained the connection and suggested a straightforward transition. Replace white bread with whole grain sourdough or sprouted grain bread. Switch to brown rice or quinoa. Swap regular pasta for chickpea or lentil-based pasta, which offers dramatically more fiber and protein. I told her to give it 60 days and then recheck her liver enzymes. 8 weeks later, she sat back down across from me holding her new lab results. Her liver enzyme levels had dropped significantly, moving back into a healthy range. She told me, "Doctor, I feel lighter in every sense of the word. The afternoon energy crashes I'd accepted as normal for years are completely gone. She had no idea how much those daily bread choices were costing her until she changed them. This isn't a miracle. This is the body finally getting what it needed, and you can experience exactly the same thing. Now let's get to the top 2 items on this list, because this is where things get genuinely alarming. Number 2 on our list is processed deli meats: ham, turkey slices, salami, bologna, roast beef from the deli counter, hot dogs. These products are extraordinarily convenient and widely consumed, especially among older adults who live alone or are cooking for 1 or 2 people. And they are delivering a daily assault on your liver that most people have absolutely no awareness of. The primary mechanism of damage is sodium combined with chemical preservatives. A single 2-ounce serving of typical deli turkey, which most people consider a light, lean protein choice, contains between 400 and 700 milligrams of sodium. A sandwich with a few slices can easily put you at 1,000 milligrams of sodium in one meal. The American Heart Association recommends no more than 2,300 milligrams per day for most adults, and ideally closer to 1,500 for adults over 60. Many people eating deli meats regularly are hitting those upper limits before dinner, but the sodium is only part of the problem. The deeper danger lies in nitrates and nitrites, chemical preservatives used in virtually all cured and processed meats. These compounds extend shelf life and maintain the pink color consumers expect. Inside your body, nitrites react with proteins during digestion to form compounds called nitrosamines, several of which are classified as probable human carcinogens. Your liver, as your primary detoxification organ, must process and neutralize these compounds every time you consume them. Research published in the European Journal of Nutrition found that high nitrite intake was associated with a 52% increased risk of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease and significant elevation in liver inflammation markers. 52%. And this was in adults consuming what most would consider moderate amounts of processed meat, not excessive quantities. Additionally, the saturated fat and cholesterol in many deli meats trigger a specific liver response where bile production becomes disrupted, which affects your entire digestive system and creates a cycle of increasing liver stress. The replacement strategy here is straightforward. Purchase whole cuts of poultry or meat and slice them yourself. A roasted chicken breast, sliced and stored in your refrigerator, gives you the same convenient protein without the preservatives, without the excessive sodium, without the nitrites. Canned salmon or tuna packed in water, though not as dramatic in terms of quantity, is another excellent option for quick protein that actively supports liver health through its omega-3 content. Now subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. My entire mission is to give you the real information that helps you make better decisions for your health after 60, information that doesn't get enough attention anywhere else, and share this video with someone you care about. A simple share could genuinely make a meaningful difference in someone's health trajectory. And now we arrive at number 1, the most liver-damaging food consumed by American seniors, and I want you to brace yourself because this is going to be difficult to hear. Number 1 on our list is fruit juice: apple juice, orange juice, grape juice, cranberry juice, pomegranate juice. These products have an almost unbreakable health halo in American culture. They're associated with vitamins, with natural goodness, with childhood breakfasts, and caring for yourself. Many older adults drink them specifically because they believe they're doing something beneficial for their health. They are not. In terms of what they do to your liver after 60, commercial fruit juices, even 100% pure varieties with no added sugar, are among the most liver-damaging beverages you can consume. Here is the biological reality. When you eat a whole piece of fruit, you consume fiber alongside the sugar. That fiber dramatically slows how quickly the fructose enters your bloodstream, giving your liver time to process it gradually. When you drink juice, you have removed all of that fiber. You're consuming the concentrated sugar of multiple pieces of fruit with nothing to slow its absorption. 8 ounces of apple juice contains the sugar of approximately 4 to 5 apples with none of the fiber of even one. That concentrated fructose hits your liver in a massive, rapid wave, and your liver, with no other organ to share this metabolic burden, converts the overflow directly into fat. A study published in the journal Hepatology found that daily fruit juice consumption, even in quantities as small as 1 8-ounce glass per day, was associated with a 61% increased risk of developing non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in adults over 55. 61% from 1 glass per day of something most people consider a health food. The study's researchers specifically highlighted adults over 55 because of a phenomenon called fructose sensitivity increase with age. As your liver ages, its capacity to safely process fructose without converting it to fat diminishes. The exact same amount of fruit juice that might have been relatively harmless at 35 becomes significantly more damaging at 65 or 75, and here's something that terrifies me when I think about it. Many of my patients who come in with elevated liver fat and liver enzyme markers are not drinkers. They don't consume alcohol at all, but they drink juice every morning because they've been told it's healthy. Their liver damage is being driven entirely by something they believe is protecting them. The disconnect between perception and reality here is one of the most dangerous things I encounter in clinical practice. I think about James, a 74-year-old retired engineer from Boston. He came to me after his gastroenterologist found elevated liver fat during a routine abdominal ultrasound. James was an exceptionally health-conscious man. He didn't smoke, didn't drink alcohol, walked 45 minutes every day, maintained a healthy weight. He was, by almost any measure, doing everything right. When I asked about his morning routine, he described something he'd maintained for over 20 years. Every single morning, he would drink a large glass of orange juice, sometimes two, and follow it with a glass of pomegranate juice because he'd read about its antioxidant properties. He was genuinely shocked when I explained what was happening. He felt almost betrayed. He'd believed for decades that this was one of the best things he was doing for his body. I asked him to make one change: replace the juice entirely with whole fruit and water. Keep the fruit, eat an orange instead of juicing 4 of them. If he wanted flavor in his water, add slices of actual fruit to let it infuse naturally. 3 months later, his follow-up imaging showed measurable reduction in liver fat. His liver enzyme markers had normalized. He came in and told me, "Doctor, I've also lost 8 pounds without trying, and my energy in the afternoon is completely different. I feel genuinely good for the first time in years. I can't believe something I thought was healthy was causing this. This wasn't a miracle. This was his body finally getting what it needed. And you can experience exactly the same thing." Before we continue, I'm curious. How many of you start your morning with a glass of juice, believing it's a healthy habit? If you drink juice daily, type juice in the comments below. I want to understand how widespread this is, and I think you'll be surprised by how many people share this habit. Now let me give you a clear, practical plan for protecting your liver starting tomorrow morning, because information without action is just stress. Here is exactly how to implement what you've learned today. Tomorrow morning, before anything else, drink a full glass of water with a squeeze of fresh lemon. This simple habit stimulates bile production, activates liver detoxification pathways, and prepares your digestive system for the day. Research shows that adequate hydration alone can reduce liver enzyme levels measurably over a 4 to 6 week period. With breakfast, swap flavored yogurt for plain Greek yogurt with a handful of real berries. Swap fruit juice for a whole piece of fruit or, if you prefer a drink, water infused with cucumber and mint or a cup of green tea. Green tea contains compounds called catechins that research published in the International Journal of Molecular Sciences found can reduce liver fat accumulation by up to 36% with consistent daily consumption. For lunch, if you've been relying on deli meat sandwiches, transition to whole food proteins: sliced roasted chicken, canned tuna or salmon, hard-boiled eggs, hummus with vegetables. Replace white bread with sprouted grain or whole grain sourdough bread. Instead of store-bought dressing on your salad, use the simple olive oil and lemon combination I described earlier. For dinner, swap white rice and regular pasta for quinoa, brown rice, lentils, or legume-based pasta. These choices don't spike blood sugar in the same way, dramatically reducing the liver's fat storage burden. Within 3 days of making these changes, most people notice reduced bloating and improved morning energy. Within 1 week, sleep quality often improves noticeably as your liver processes more efficiently during its active overnight regeneration window. Within 2 weeks, the mid-afternoon energy crashes that many people accept as an inevitable part of aging begin to diminish or disappear entirely. Within a month, if your doctor runs liver enzyme tests, many patients see measurable improvement in their numbers. Don't make these critical errors as you begin this process. First, don't try to change everything at once. Pick one swap per week and make it automatic before adding the next. Sustainable change happens gradually. Second, don't replace fruit juice with artificially sweetened beverages or sports drinks. Many of these products contain sweeteners that activate the same liver fat storage pathways as sugar. Water, whole fruit, and unsweetened tea are your friends. Third, don't assume that because a product is labeled natural, organic, or healthy, it's safe for your liver. The food industry applies these labels liberally and with very little regulatory restraint. Read ingredients. If you see high fructose corn syrup, soybean oil, or sodium nitrite in the first several ingredients, put it back. Now let me bring this together. Today we've covered 5 foods that are doing measurable damage to your liver right now, ranked from most surprising to most dangerous. Flavored yogurt, flooding your liver with processed fructose under the disguise of health food. Store-bought salad dressing, delivering refined oils that drive chronic liver inflammation. White bread and refined grains, constantly triggering blood sugar spikes that convert to liver fat through de novo lipogenesis. Processed deli meats, delivering a daily dose of nitrites, excessive sodium, and compounds your aging liver must work harder and harder to neutralize. And fruit juice, the #1 hidden driver of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease in health-conscious adults over 60, delivering concentrated fructose in quantities your liver cannot safely process without damage. Each of these foods has been given a health image it doesn't deserve, and each one can be replaced with a healthier alternative that your liver will immediately begin responding to. My message today isn't fear. It isn't that you've been ruining your health and the damage is done. My message is empowerment. You now have information that most people your age don't have, information that your liver would desperately want you to act on. Here's my challenge to you. Commit to replacing just one of these 5 foods this week. Just one. Start with whichever one surprised you most or whichever one is most present in your daily routine. Do it for 30 days. Only 30 days. Pay attention to how you feel. Notice your energy. Notice your digestion. Notice whether that stubborn fatigue begins to lift. Your liver will begin its recovery process faster than you might expect, because given the right conditions, this organ has remarkable capacity to restore itself even in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. You are not broken. Your information was broken, and now you have better information. If this video helped you today, I'm asking you to do 3 things. Hit that like button, because it helps this information reach more people who need it. Subscribe to this channel because every week I share practical science-backed health information designed specifically for adults over 60, the information you deserve and rarely get anywhere else. And share this video with someone you love, a parent, a sibling, a friend, a neighbor who drinks juice every morning thinking they're doing something good for themselves. A single conversation started by sharing this video could genuinely alter the course of someone's health. And now I want to hear from you. Which of these 5 foods surprised you most? Or which one are you committing to replace first? Share your answer in the comments below. I read every single one, and your story might be exactly what someone else needs to hear to make their own change. Because remember, your liver doesn't need perfection. It needs consistency and the right information. And now you have both. Take care of yourself.